so welcome back to Lex Reads. So in today's video, I actually was thinking about movies that made me buy like the actual book. And I have had, you know what, quite a few influences because of the movies. So yeah, let's just get started. Okay, so the first one is Memoirs of a Geisha. And this is by author Golden. Now, okay, I'll be real with y'all. I have watched the movie, loved the movie. I haven't read the book. I read half of the book. And then I put it down. But I recently watched the movie again, and I'm like, I have to get into this. I have to get into it because that movie was fantastic. And usually, you know, obviously movies, they don't directly have everything that's in the book and like vice versa. So I'm like, I really love the movie. So I'm thinking in my mind, and from what I read before, I really did enjoy it. You know, you just got to be, I'm a mood reader, and sometimes you have to just be in the right headspace. And at that time I wasn't in the right headspace, but like I said, I enjoyed the movie, and so I know that this book is going to be bomb. So yes. Next is, oh Lord, of course, Terry McMillan, Waiting to Excel. I mean, come on now, this is a classic. This is one of my favorite movies. This is one of my favorite books. Love her dialogue. I would say everything that was in, basically everything that was in the movie was in the book. They just didn't explore Robin's parents. Robin's dad was dealing with dementia. And let me see. Really, that's it. Like some of their backstories of how like they met, but that's basically it. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. You almost don't need to read the book. If you watch the movie, it's kind of like you already know. Because again, I mean, Forrest Whitaker, who directed that, just did a fantastic job. And so yeah, this is a win. Next is Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, Half of a Yellow Sun. Now, back in 2019, I was obsessed with anything that was African literature. That was like when I first got back into reading, taking it really seriously. And if you guys know African literature, they know how to tell a story. They are fantastic storytellers. And the backdrop of Half of the Yellow Sun is about the Biafra War. But it also has a love story. You're dealing with two twin sisters that, you know, in society, one of the sisters is really, really pretty. She's really light, thin. The other sister is kind of brown skin. And she's real witty. She, you know, Elena's real shy and kind of go with the flow. And Kainene is the opposite. She go tell you what she want to tell you. She runs her business. She does all of that. But I really did enjoy the movie. Fantastic, fantastic. I mean, everything Chimamanda writes, in my opinion, is just amazing. She just knows how to tell a story. Oh girl, what happened to Kainene? If you guys have read the book or watched the movie, what happened to Kainene? Do you think, what happened to her? Because I think she's probably died. I think she's dead. But, yeah, girl. All right, let's move on. Next is, For Colored Girls Who Have Committed Suicide, When the Rainbow Is Enough. Now, I remember when this movie came out back in 2010, I was in college, and I was so excited. I had never heard of it, and then when I saw the trailer for the movie, we just flabbergasted. Because, first of all, there were some heavy hitters in that movie. You have Felicia Rashad, Anika Noni Rose, Kimberly Elise, Janet Jackson, Loretta Devine. Who else? Tandy Newton, Tessa Thompson. Oh my goodness, Hill Harper, Kerry Washington. Like, girl, I feel like I'm forgetting somebody, but those are heavy hitters, right? Whoopi Goldberg, girl. So I was like, before I saw the movie, I wanted to read this is a chorus poems or whatever she calls them. Oh my goodness, y'all. Fantastic, fantastic. I love this, and I love the movie. Now, the author, Ntishaki Strange, she didn't like the movie. She didn't like the movie at all. If you guys go back to some of her interviews, she didn't like it at all. But look, she got a hefty amount from it, okay? But she just did not like it. But I'm sorry. I loved it. All right. I actually have the DVD. I bought it. So yeah. Next is Anne Rice, The Feast of Saints. Now, Anne Rice, she writes horror. She's known for what, the Queen of the Dam or whatever. I don't deal with that. I don't deal with that. But I wanted to read this because this actually is a TV movie, and I think it was on YouTube. I'll link it down below if it's still there. It's during the Civil War in Louisiana. You had these black women that basically they can pass for white. They're like French, Spanish, and they look white, but they were clearly black. And you had these white men that would basically, they were kind of like their mistresses. They were their mistresses. They would take care of them. And these women would live lavish lives, but they would be just like, they'd be the mistress, and obviously the men had, you know, their actual wives, but they were well taken care of. And they had like these quadroon balls that these women, black women, would go and have all these pretty dresses, and the men would just be there, and it's kind of like they'd take their pick. And again, those women would be well taken care of. They, you know, they didn't want for anything, but they're basically having to sell themselves. But she talks about that, and the movie obviously talks about that. I wish I could find another copy because I despise mass market paper books. I just don't like the feeling of it in my hands, and I cannot stand the font. But I just really, really wanted to read it. So yeah. Next is Homemade Love by J. California Cooper. You guys know I've talked about J. California Cooper so many times. This is a collection of short stories. She's known for her short stories and plays, but in this collection, it's a short story called My Funny Valentine. And there also is a TV movie that BET used to always play starring Arfie Witter and Loretta Devine, and it is fantastic. You have these two young girls from the South, Deary B and Joyce May. Deary B has a mind of about a 10-year-old, and they're cousins, and Joyce May, you know, would always visit her in the summer in the South. And in the book, I mean, clearly, you know that Deary B is slow. Nothing really happens to her. But in the movie, something really, really, really bad happens to Deary B. And then you see how her life has navigated. Because one thing I love about that movie, they do like past to present. So you can see in their childhood and everything, and then you see how they are as adults and all of that. But yeah, in this book, My Funny Valentine is in this collection, and oh, I just love it. My Funny Valentine, the book, the short story is about maybe like 4 or 5 pages, and it's fantastic. And then the movie that's 5-star. Of course, The Color Purple by Alice Walker. I mean, come on now. Everybody knows The Color Purple. Everyone knows. Everyone knows Celie and Sophia and Suge and all that. And did you guys see the trailer? I watched it yesterday. They had like half of the cast with Oprah watch it. That scene when Suge comes out, I said, oh, you better do it, Taraji. Because, girl, Margaret Avery knocks it out the park. But when she came on that boat with that red outfit and she had that fan, this gonna be bad. And Fantasia singing. Fantasia can sing people under the table, okay? So that cast, fantastic. But yeah, Color Purple, you gotta mention Color Purple. Next is The Hours by Michael Cunningham. Now, I remember I watch and read this in college because the phases of like actresses and singers, and my senior year of college I was obsessed with Julianne Moore, which is her, and I watched everything that Julianne Moore was in. I have basically almost all of her movies, but this one Nicole Kidman an Academy Award because she is playing Virginia Woolf, and girl, Virginia Woolf had, Lord Jesus, she had mental issues. You have 3 women from basically 3 different time periods. You have Laura Brown, who was played by Julianne Moore, 1950s housewife. She's just really not, she doesn't like her life. She's very unhappy. It's like she, like a mom and a housewife that don't do nothing for her. And girl, you don't know if she gonna harm herself, she gonna harm the baby, the husband. You just don't know. She is just so unfulfilled and just, girl, depression is an understatement for her. And then you have clearly Virginia Woolf, and Virginia is dealing with mental issues. In the book and in the movie, she is writing Mrs. Dalloway, so you see her process or whatever, but you really see how that mind, she's attempted suicide several times, and whew, she's just dealing with that. And then you have Carissa, who is played by Meryl Streep. Carissa is in New York. She's planning a party for one of her best friends. And yeah, if you've seen the movie, you know how her story goes, which I was outdone. I was Not expecting that. But yeah, guys, the book and the movie, fantastic. I mean, these are three heavy hitters. I mean, and then Meryl Streep can play Batman. So yeah. All right, next is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. And oh girl, this how did I even stumble on this? I think I watched this on Hulu. I had always seen like the cover. I remember when this came out, I was like in high school, when to say, and I'm like, oh, I'm not really into that or whatever. You know, a little white teen drama. I'm like, yeah, girl, no. But one day I just watched it and I'm like, oh, I was outdone. You have a young man who is dealing with depression and he's in high school and he, you know, has been in a mental institution just trying to get his mind right, and he finally goes to high school and finds some like these outcasts basically, and they befriend him and they help him, but he has a secret regarding a family member, and you never would expect that that person did that to him. So I'm being around the bush because I don't want to give it away. Next is Little Fires Everywhere. This is one of my favorite miniseries. I remember watching that miniseries back in September 2020 because I remember I saw it near my birthday, and Kerry Washington played Mia, and Reese Witherspoon played Elena. This was so good, and I'm so glad they made it into a miniseries. Only thing is, with the book and the miniseries, it leaves you on a cliffhanger. It's kind of like, okay, what's going to happen to Mia and Pearl? Like, clearly, you know, they're always going somewhere, obviously. But are they going to confront? Is Mia going to really confront her past? Like, and then with Elena and her kids, like, with Izzy, what happened to Izzy? You know, but overall, fantastic. I like both of them. I can't even say, oh, I like the book better than the movie. I actually do like both of them because they are different in some ways. And I like the fact that they didn't take away from the limited series. They added a little bit, but they didn't add too much. So you just got the perfect balance. Fantastic. Next is The Human Strain by Philip Roth. Now, this is another one. I haven't read the book, but that movie, fantastic. This also has Nicole Kidman and Anthony Hopkins. You have a man that's a professor, and he is accused of like he's accused of like discrimination towards a black student. But he has a secret that when you find out his secret, it's like straight up, seriously. Oh my goodness. So good. And the way it ended, he wrote this book. Now, personally, I've seen some interviews of Philip Roth, and the way that he talks very badly about religion and, you know, Christianity, it kind of bothers me a little bit. The story, I said, oh, I know I'm going to like the book because the movie is just unbelievable. And that storyline is something that I like. You know what I mean? So yeah. Next is Can You Ever Forgive Me by Lee Israel. This movie and this book. Lee Israel was a writer of biographies, and she could not publish anything, and she started to have financial struggles because her publishers didn't want to publish her work anymore. They weren't interested in what she wanted to do, and she's like, I don't have any money. What am I going to do? So what she does is she starts she starts writing literary letters of like famous people like Dorothy Parker, and actually going to stores and saying that, oh, this is a real letter, and she got money for that. And you talking about hundreds and thousands of dollars, and she forged those, you know, letters. And then when they found out, she got a couple of, I think, did she go to jail? I think she did go to jail, and I think she had to pay up some fines. But the fact that you have letters out there that you don't know if Dorothy Parker actually wrote or if Lee Israel wrote. So the way she did that, she did get a slap on the wrist, because I think if that was a black writer, look, if Alice Walker did that, she would still be under the jail. But the fact that she had to, I mean, her thing is, I need to make a living. You guys are not publishing my books, and What am I gonna do? She was a middle-aged woman. Um, yeah. That movie, who played her? Melissa McCarthy. Fantastic. Melissa McCarthy is known for comedic work, right? But she's a fantastic, fantastic dramatic actress. Y'all, please watch Can You Ever Forgive Me? It is phenomenal, phenomenal. And then lastly, The Reader by Bernard Schlink. This talks about the Holocaust, but in a different way. You have a young man that is 15 years old. He has an affair with a 37-year-old woman, and over the summer, and then one day she just vanishes. And then when he is in, I think, law school, he is doing like a almost like a mock trial. He's watching it for like his curriculum, and Hannah, who is the woman, she is in the courtroom facing charges. So I'm gonna say, because oh my goodness. And then the movie, beyond fantastic. And the movie is basically, you don't have to read the book. You can just watch the movie and you get everything. That's how great it was. And Kate Winslet actually won an Academy Award for her role as Hannah. Y'all, watch it, read it. Fantastic, fantastic. So yeah, guys, that's it when it comes to movies that have influenced my book buys, okay? Like I said before, love movies. That's just what I do. So yeah, guys, that's all I have for you. I'll be back with more Black books. Bye.